Hey guys, welcome to the FitTown show. This is Coach Andrew with Coach Tony, and today's episode we're going to be talking about the future of FitTown, and we want to share some exciting things that we have coming up in the coming months here, but really just kind of share an insight into our vision and our mission and what we're trying to create here with FitTown over the next years and several decades, hopefully beyond. So, we rebranded the gym back in summer of last year. And that brought a few changes. Not a whole lot's changed, but you start to see things evolve over time. And when we set on that FitTown name, the reason we picked that name was really because of our connection to the Jupiter and DeQuesta area. Tony and I grew up here. We've been down here since I was 3 and he was 5. And yeah, we want to have an impact on this local community, and we want FitTown to be more than just a gym.
Yeah, and something that I've noticed over the years being in youth sports. So we grew up in JTA, which is Jupiter Tequesta Athletic Association. We went to Limestone Creek, Jupiter Middle School, Jupiter High. It's I always noticed sports was this positive light in our lives, right? It gave us this sense of confidence and belonging and kind of affirmation that we were good at something. And I don't think I ever or always knew I wanted to start a gym. But when it came about, it was oh, this is fulfilling of kind of that vision I always felt growing up. It's we can fulfill this and provide that positive place that we felt all through team sports and being on sports teams throughout our lives in this town.
Exactly. Yeah. How can we provide that to others, and where are our strengths and sort of best points of leverage as a gym, as a business, as a community of 400 to 500 people that are excited about what we do, that are great people, that want to help and want to give back and want to contribute. Where are our points of leverage? And we really feel in the areas of fitness and health and families is a big bread and butter of ours, and youth especially, as well as food. These are areas where we believe that we can have a positive impact. And some of the things that we're looking towards is, you guys have seen it with the blood drives that we started doing. If you haven't listened to the blood drive podcast that my dad and Rachel were on, that will give you more insight into kind of the why behind the blood drives. But that was just one aspect of okay, this is something where we have all these healthy people that have the ability to give this super valuable thing to someone else, which is healthy blood. And we filled those 2 buses up the first Saturday we did it. We had more than enough people, and we're going to do that probably every 2 to 3 months moving forward. And if it goes well, we might even do it every month if it's really going well. So that's just one aspect. And we've done donations for different causes over time. We want to continue to do stuff like that. And we're starting a scholarship program. We've had so many members over the years that have wanted to contribute to other members that can't afford to do this, or don't have the financial means to do this. And that's something that we want to be a big part of our mission moving forward.
Yeah, I think everything we went through last year with COVID and everything, having to shut down the gym a couple times, and just seeing some people in our community struggle, it really made us realize that was kind of a blessing in a way where we realized the importance of being a community. And you're saying, doing all these things that bring our community up. And, hopefully we'll never have to go back to anything like we went through this past year, but take those lessons we've learned and grow stronger as a gym and as a community. And there's certain other things that COVID, has kind of shaped our gym and the way we want to move forward. We had super big classes before where we had 30 people or more in a class.
Up to 40.
Yeah, sometimes 40 people in a class, and that was a cap class. And, we want to have less than 30 in our classes moving forward. We want to have smaller classes with more focus on individuals, better personal attention, better coaching, and providing a really good experience to every person that's inside our doors.
Yeah, I think I had a few one-on-one conversations with people around the price raise that we had to do recently, which is coming into effect on March 1st. And a lot of this was this discussion around what do we want to be moving forward. And for me, it really came down to so much of the CrossFit industry as a whole, and us included, we chased members to make up for poor pricing. We spent so many years chasing 500 members to really just make up for bad pricing that we had. And that's why you've seen so many CrossFit gyms go out of business. We've seen it in our local area. We've seen it worldwide, even before COVID. And then once COVID hit, because there was no slack in the system, a lot of those gyms got wiped out. And, it's really sad to see. And I think a lot of it's just due to pricing because people had really strong communities. So we're really at a point where we saw these 20-person classes and it was such a great experience. And we're saying, okay, well, what do we want to be moving forward? And how can we put ourselves in a position where we can create an amazing business and a community with the people we already have instead of trying to chase more and more and more and chase 500 members? And like, what does ideal look like? And we really feel like that ideal experience happens somewhere around that 24 to 28 people where you have a high energy in the group, you still have plenty of space and equipment, you still get that coaching attention, but you have this awesome community of people to kind of push you through a workout and have this super high energy experience.
Yeah. So, and I think as we want to have longevity in fitness business and be this hub of positivity for our members in Jupiter, Florida, for really as long as we live, to think of our longevity, we have to think of our members' longevity, right? Because I think something that got me personally away from the CrossFit space was I was always hearing about people retiring from CrossFit. They're like, I had a good run, 5 to 10 years, but it's time to step away and move on. And to me, that never sat well because I'm like, physical fitness and physical ability should never be something you just leave at a certain age, right? And there's a lot of things throughout the fitness industry that are like shooting stars. They burn brightly, they're the Pelotons or the beach body workouts, and they work for, and people are all over them for a couple years, and then they burn brightly and fade to black. I never want to be the fade to black story. I want to provide something that's like real longevity to our members to where they can see themselves doing this forever and ever. And I think that's kind of like our unique belief in fitness is like, we want people to never say, I'm too old for FitTown Jupiter.
Yeah, it's such an interesting point you brought up because fitness is like one of the most essential, timeless things, yet it's an industry that has so many trends that come in and out. And I think what you're getting at is kind of one of the things that we're going to be introducing in the next month or so here, and starting with the FTX side and eventually introducing it to the Beach Fit side, is something that we're calling our superhuman system, which is basically a martial arts based kind of like belt system for thinking about well-rounded fitness. And for us, this was really looking at, okay, yes, we've come from a sports background and we did the true CrossFit. We've done competitive CrossFit, but like, what does well-rounded fitness look like? When you take any person off the street and you were to say, hey, I want this person to be capable of anything that life's going to throw at them, capable of any activities that they want to do in their lives, whether that be going for a walk, playing with their kids, going on a hike, team sports, all these different things. Like, what are the things that person needs to be able to do or should be able to do in the gym in order to be able to do these things in life? And that's where we came up with this superhuman system, which is 27 different categories, 27 different tests that you can see which stage you match up on in any of these given tests and see really where your weak links are. And that's what it's all about, is you are going to be limited in life in the gym by your weakest link. So how can we start to figure out where you're strong, where you're weak, and then start to attack those weakest links? Because I think, as Tony's pointing out, is where that burnout comes from in this, is that people keep hammering on their strengths. They keep hammering on the things that they're already good at, to the point that the risk versus reward is no longer there. They take on too much risk for the incremental reward, right? If you have a 400-pound deadlift and you're taking on the risk to get to 415, that incremental reward of 15 extra pounds from 400 to 415 carries so much more risk that isn't necessary. So with this superhuman system, it's instead of trying to make those strengths stronger, we're saying, where are the weak links and how can we make that better?
Yeah, and also we're tying it to life as well. So like we want to be able to say like, hey, when you make it to this stage of the system, you can go skiing. You know, like you can go down like a tougher mountain when you ski if that's what you're into, you know, but whatever you're into, we can help you get better at.
If you're at this level, you can play on my soccer team in the co-ed league, and we will gladly have you on the team.
It's not a high level, but it's a level.
Yeah, if you're on the chart, we'll take it. Especially if you're female. We really need some female players, so please reach out to Andrew at FitTown.com if you want to join the soccer league. But yeah, we've had these different thoughts where like we have this new motto where you see on a lot of our shirts, live life to the fittest. Another thing that we kind of stole from Ben Bergeron, he has the motto at his gym of being able to like kick ass into your 90s, which I think it should be kick ass into your hundreds. I want to be able to take it that far. But it's a different view on fitness. It's a much more longevity view on fitness when you think about where do I want to be decades from now, as opposed to just, oh, I want to be able to split jerk or squat or whatever it might be a few more pounds. And it's a lot of times we let sort of those short-sighted shiny objects take away from what do I really want to be able to accomplish inside and outside the gym, and what are some metrics that I can actually chase inside the gym, because this is going to give you guys things you can chase, but what are some metrics that I can chase in the gym that we're actually going to translate to something effective outside the gym?
Yeah, I think you summed it up perfectly. You know, it's not hitting a certain weight to make us happy or to do a certain time in a workout to make us happy. It's like, what truly makes you happy? What did you do in here that you took out into the world that made your life better and, you know, helped you just live a better life?
Yeah, and it's also kind of like a window into how we as coaches think. We're always kind of making these assessments of like, you know, an athlete says they want to get better at something, and we're kind of saying, well, this athlete's strong at this, not as strong at this. You know, how can we actually make this thing better? So it's going to give you guys a chance to kind of see a window into our minds of how we think and how we assess athletes to develop them and make them better. So
I think it's a good segue into the mindset talk.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. We'll kick it off.
All right. So really, we know we've been good at. We've been here, I can't even 8 years now as a gym, and like we've been really good at the physical training side. And something that we keep coming back to is like people or our members will tell us how much they get better at their mental side, and like their mental training and gets stronger. They get mentally tough. All right. And we're like, you know what? We've always done this unintentionally as a gym, but let's start doing this intentionally.
Yeah.
Let's start doing mental programs and mental training and putting out stuff that helps our members intentionally get better on the mental side.
Yeah, and it's really just kind of taking it that step further, because we already talk about this stuff on podcasts for those of you that listen to podcasts regularly. And if any of you have kids or have seen our kids program, you know that we build in these character and these mindset days into our kids program, where every day there's some kind of focus, usually a word or a trait that the kids are working on. And after seeing these kids classes go on for months and almost a year now, it's so cool to see these kids really growing and developing by working on the mental component along with the physical component. And the kids class is certainly a different approach. We're going to take a completely different approach with the adults, but we're just saying, how can we take what's really good with these kids classes and start to apply it? Because the thought that I had was like, okay, at what point does being strong mentally, having good character no longer matter? We're teaching this in our kids program. We're working on it with our kids and teens. But with the adults, we kind of let it happen by accident. And it's bringing that level of intentionality to say, how can we work on this thing intentionally with our adult classes?
Yeah, and there's just so many avenues we can dive into this. We're going to start our first one with confidence, but there's a lot of like good ones like, you know, gratitude and grit, courage, composure, all these things that you guys face in your workouts, in life. You know, you see it when you have these good days and bad days. You see it when your self-talk is positive versus when it's not. And rather than just waiting for this to maybe show up one day and not show up the next, we're going to give you guys more specifics. And we're going to be shooting a podcast that will be coming out
soonly after this one, you may even have already listened to it if you got to that one first, that will dive into this into more detail. But it's not going to be massive in the sense that it's not going to be every day we're going to be hammering on these mental traits. But the same way that we might have cleans once a week or squats once a week, and the focus for the squat is driving the knees out, sitting back in the squat, we're going to have some focus in terms of what you can do from a self-talk perspective, what you can focus your just your mindset on during that workout to have a better workout that day, and then hopefully take some of that stuff into your life for the rest of the day and hopefully be a better human outside the gym.
And so you brought up the kids, and it's funny because I actually just had a talk with my kids yesterday about the CrossFit Pyramid. If you're not familiar with the CrossFit Pyramid, it basically gives like kind of the foundation of how you build an athlete. And their pyramid has nutrition at the bottom, and then metabolic conditioning, gymnastics, weightlifting, and sport. And so I had a chat with my 7 and 8 year olds about it yesterday. And like as we were thinking about this podcast, I'm like, wow, like mindset is really the base below nutrition.
Yeah.
Like you have to have the mindset to be able to just show up, as we say, and like even walk in the doors through the gym, or even decide to take on a new way of eating. Like if you don't have that mindset, like you can't even get up the pyramid. So like I think it's cool. Like that's what I'd like to see people do, is like buy into like, you know, this is the foundation. And without this, I don't have a strong base to build that athletic pyramid above it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I have more thoughts on that, but I'm going to save that for that other podcast. Couple other things that we want to hit on in terms of the future for FitTown is one of the big parts of our mission that we want to let you guys in on is this idea of professionalizing the fitness coach. It's something that we really decided a few years ago that we wanted to do. We wanted to have full-time coaches that are able to make a real career out of coaching. We believe that the coach serves such a valuable addition to our world and the ability to help people live healthier and happier lives. And we see a coach as, even though they don't have to go through the schooling that a doctor has to go through to start practicing, that doesn't take away from the importance of their role. And I see that many times doctors have to play defense. They're getting to things once they're already there. And as coaches, we get to play offense as when it comes to health. And we get to help people not just stay alive, but hopefully live a better quality life. So we really want to help coaches make careers out of being coaches and professionalize it. And as you've seen with the coaches we brought on board, I mean, 6 of the last 7 coaches that we've hired at FitTown, we've brought in from out of state. We've hired the best of the best people. We feel that they're the best of the best. And, we start developing them from day one via meetings and coaches development and trying to expand their skill set.
Yeah, and something we want for our coaches and our team here is to connect with the different health professionals in the health field, right? Like we want to help bridge that gap between, I guess what like you might say, like the swim coach and the lifeguard, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like there's the person that's there for prevention, and there's the person that's there for reaction, right? And there has to be communication between the two. There has to be a relationship between the two, and we need to know where our boundaries end and the beginning starts for someone in a professional field to be recommended to.
Yeah, and one example of that is we have Zach Summers, physical therapist that works upstairs in the gym a few days a week, and our coaches are talking to him all the time about different members and their situations and how can we better modify their workouts or give them better warm-ups to be able to no longer be in pain, no longer be injured, and being that connection between the physical therapist and the doctor and us, so that way we can help people stay pain-free and live a better life. The last thing I want to kind of touch on, and this is kind of bring everything full circle, which is like, are we ever going to expand to multiple locations? And like, what do we see as the future of FitTown in that sense? And the short answer to that question is no. We don't have any immediate plans or even real moderate term plans to open up multiple locations. We really feel like we still have a lot of work to do to perfect what we're doing here, to make our coaches better, improve our class experience, continue to have more of an impact on a local level with our community. So we're really in this mindset of continue to perfect what we have and sort of going small to go big. So if later on down the road we want to have multiple locations, we might chase that down. But for now, it's about going small and focusing on what we have, making it great. And we are doing some things where we're helping gym owners and coaches kind of do the same in their local areas and helping them to make their business better and improve their coaching staff. So we're kind of dabbling in that a little bit, but really for us, it's just about continuing to make this as good as it possibly can be.
Yeah, and open to sharing that knowledge, to help other gym owners get better, like not like working in isolation. We want other gym owners to see what we're doing and hopefully bring like this same kind of value and hub of positivity to their own individual towns.
Cool. So I wanted to wrap up on going back to the scholarship thing that we mentioned. And it's funny because the hard part about the scholarship is not finding people that want to contribute to the scholarship, but actually finding really good people that would take advantage, that are in need of the scholarship, that would actually use it. And if you guys want to be on either end of the scholarship, whether you want to contribute or you have someone in mind that you think would be a great fit to offer that scholarship to, please reach out to us. You can reach out to us directly, Andrew or Tony at FitTown.com, or you can head over to FitTownJupiter.com/scholarship, and there's an application form on there. But we'd love to help you guys, help us develop that and feed that. And if you have great people that you think are a great fit for it, please let us know. So yeah, that's kind of the main things we have going over the coming years and months. If you guys have any questions or have any feedback or things that we should be doing, especially as it relates to organizations that we can work with to expand our reach in the local community, please reach out. But thanks for joining, and we'll see you guys on the next one.